What's going on, my fellow A-plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode. It is I, your more phenomenal host, Adam Perez, certainly coming through as we're going to be getting into Zenkaiser episode number 23. Got ourselves a brand new episode this week. The battle that we've been waiting for, Zenkaiser versus Stacaesar one-on-one, or so to say. There was definitely a lot more involvement in this battle than I personally was certainly expecting. But this is an episode I was really looking forward to. The preview itself looked really appealing. It looked like we were going to get ourselves a relatively serious episode, and we certainly did just that. Not only did we focus on storyline details and characters, but also we got more toy sales for you guys today, as we got some really fantastic sort of mecha combinations for you guys here in this week's episode. But overall, I was really pleased with this. I think for me, one of the things that really stood out to me was the fact that this episode relatively took itself rather serious, right? The idea, first and foremost, the fact that we go into this episode and we see that the battle is still ensuing from last week's battle, the fact that they literally started in the morning or afternoon, whatever the case may be, went all day long into the evening, I thought it was actually pretty brilliant, to be honest with you, for us to kind of get that little bit of a time jump, and to be really surprising that the Battle Caesar Robo 2 was actually keeping up with Kaiser along with Zenkaiser for the most part in here. I was actually pretty impressed with him facing off against the Zenkaiju that we wind up getting in the beginning of this episode. But it is funny to me that they literally battle all day long, sort of thing, have to like literally take a timeout and a break. But then when we do get into the final battle, I mean, it's just a matter of minutes before the Battle Caesar Robo unfortunately meets its demise. But so I appreciated that. I appreciated the fact that they at least gave Stacy a little bit of a fight in the beginning, even though as a viewer we certainly still didn't see it, unfortunately. But I love that the episode really took itself rather seriously, really allowing Kaito some time to kind of sit and ponder everything that's certainly going on between him and Stacy. And I really even loved just the conversation that we had between Kaito and Jurin also. There's clearly a ton on this guy's mind. Even Zox himself realizes it, that this is a battle that he's going to have to take care of sort of on his own, one-on-one, and really is doing his part and not sort of getting involved. I mean, granted, there's probably no I think maybe for Zox there's no true treasure or reward of it at the end of the day, so he clearly doesn't want to get involved. But outside of that, I think he understands how important the battle is for Kaito and why they certainly need to have this sort of one-on-one battle. But great moments in here. The fact that this episode took its foot off the gas a little bit in regards to its comedy and its humor, and really let just the characters kind of carry this episode, really worked for me in here. And the fact alone that we get to see Kaito along with the Zenkaigers really pondering why it is that Stacy's certainly doing what he wants to do, right? It's a question that even us as a viewer has kind of brought up, with the idea of Stacy having so much to lose. I mean, we saw, a couple of episodes back, Zox threatening Stacy on telling Yi-chan everything that was certainly going to be, everything about what's happening and why he's trying to face off against his her grandson and things like that. Probably not going to make Yi-chan a happy camper whatsoever, right? And that clearly struck a nerve with Stacy. But Stacy's committed, right? Stacy's committed, and I love the fact that Kaito, despite him struggling with what Stacy truly wants or what Stacy's trying to find, I love the fact that he talks to Jurin in this episode and says, listen, what's the point of me continuing to talk to this guy, right? Like, I appreciate Jurin saying, why don't you just ask him? I personally probably, if I was Kaito, I probably still would have asked Stacy anyway, just for my own mindset to try and figure out where his headspace is at. But, going into this battle, if you know that Stacy knows the risks and is still determined to go ahead and try and take you out, there's really no reason to talk about it, right? And so I really appreciated that he definitely had that mindset in there. And it is one of those things. What did I put in here? I says, no more point in trying to talk Stacy off the ledge, right? He's made his decision. I said he made his bed and is about to get that ass whooping that he wanted so badly. He's been wanting smoke with Kaito, and Kaito's certainly not one to go ahead and turn away from it whatsoever. So, the fact that Stacy's that committed, I love the fact that Kaito also realizes that, what, if he's willing to lose all that, then what, I'm willing to go ahead and put myself out there also, and be as be in my convictions and be as convicted about this decision as he certainly is. And I thought that was a really grown-up decision by Kaito. And again, so one other reason as to why I've really enjoyed his character in here. I really have enjoyed his leadership, because he really does take his time to kind of think situations out, and even the idea of taking time to think about Stacy before even fully committing to the idea that, yep, if he wants to fight, I'm going to give him the fight. So I love the fact that he's willing to think about others before really kind of making that decision. And it does make me wonder how far along Kaito is in regards to connecting the pieces, if at all, right? I mean, the fact that he's looking at his parents' photo, he's remembering everything that Stacy mentioned to him about where your parents, maybe they're in some ditch somewhere dead if the Toji Tendo's kind of gotten their hands on them, sort of thing. So I am wondering if how much of the pieces he's putting together. I mean, clearly he realizes now, very similar to what we did very early on, he's clearly reminiscing about when he hears Yachan's voice or sees him, it's clearly reminding him of his mother or his parents. The question I have is, did this episode technically hint to us that Stacy's mom is in fact Kaito's mother also? I'm really interested to kind of learn a little bit more about that if possible, and just the connections that we wind up having. And this really kind of even falls into place and in line towards the end of this episode, where we see after the battle, Stacy being badly injured, Gigi bringing Stacy's body back to the Toji Tendo to continue to be worked on. I'm not under the impression, I don't know if Stacy's dead in here or if he's just unconscious, and Ichiru's either trying to bring him back to life or at least nurse his wounds, and kind of help him recover in that sense. The fact that when it comes to Stacy, the two subjects that he decides to work with are in fact Kaito's parents definitely speaks volumes. There's certainly a connection there. And I'm starting to think to myself, first and foremost, real quick honorable mention, I love the fact when Ichiru opens up the flooring after he selected Kaito's mother's image, you get to see that his mom is still in sort of like this stasis. The stasis pod, for some reason, just really reminds me of the Beast Morphers pod that we wind up seeing Blaze and Roxy. And I mean, who knows? Maybe Toei was like, Hasbro, can we borrow that for this year? That'd be perfect if we can use that. So I don't know where they got it from, but that's immediately what it reminded me of. So the Stacy and the Kaito thing continues to grow, and again, we're 23 episodes in, we're finally now getting more information about the main storyline in here. And I am wondering, because Ichiru even references the idea that Stacy isn't your average Kikainoid, right? We're very much under the impression that if Barashitara is in fact his dad and he's had a human mom, some sort of relations are happening there between Kikainoids and are able to create something like Stacy, right? So I am kind of curious now if Kaito's mother, well, I don't know if she necessarily raised Stacy, it does kind of bring up a theory that I'm starting to have now. Like, I'm wondering if they're taking either Kikainoids and maybe splicing human DNA and sort of like merging them together and birthing a human or a creation of some sort. I am kind of curious, like, not technically Kaito's brother by birth, but maybe by creation, using maybe like Kaito's mom's DNA. And I'm wondering if, like, what Ichiru plans on doing when he selects the mom, I'm wondering if that's like a blood infusion or something like that, right? Like or blood transfusion, I should say. When you're badly injured and you need somebody that's got that same sort of DNA as you or blood type as you. I'm wondering if that's part of it. So again, that's just me thinking, like, with Ichiru and their weird science sort of technology, maybe they've been trying to experiment with splicing human DNA and Kikainoids, and we wind up getting somebody like a Stacy, if that's the case. Or maybe it is the case that Kaito's mom wind up having, a kid with somebody else, and this kid wind up getting kidnapped and, spliced with Barashitara's Kikainoid DNA. I have no idea. This is me just throwing out speculations and ideas, but I love the mystery that this episode certainly entails. Definitely solidifies that there certainly is a connection between Stacy and Kaito's parents, but I feel like there's still a big question mark as to how. How are all the pieces connected? But listen, if you guys have a theory in regards to where Stacy's sort of family lineage comes from, or what's certainly going on with Stacy, please go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below after this video airs. I would love to go ahead and have further discussion with you guys and just pick each other's brain a little bit. But I thought that Kaito stuff in this episode was perfection, if you ask me. Getting to see his conviction to go ahead and face against somebody like Stacy, even though you clearly know that Kaito really would rather have a conversation and lure him over to the light side. But if Stacy's willing to lose everything for this battle, Kaito's got to certainly step up also. Speaking of Stacy here a little bit, look, I've said this before. This dude's a punk. This dude's a straight up punk. The fact that he wants a one-on-one battle, but then all of a sudden he wants to start including his purple gears, like, that's just as unfair as it gets. Talk about a cheater to the umpteenth level. The fact that even the Zenkaigers call him out on it, and he's like, but it's not cheating, it's part of my weaponry. Nah, bro, that's cheating. You wanted the smoke and you just didn't take it. And the fact that he winds up having to use the Old Ranger team, the Shinkinger team in here, super cheating for sure. But I'm glad that the rest of Kaito's buddies at least certainly came through and distracted him in the meantime. Because outside of that, Stacy's got nothing for this guy. Nothing for this guy. We get a brief sort of one-on-one battle before he starts using his gears. A little bit bummed about that. I do feel like I was kind of robbed a bit in regards to the battle. The way that they kind of highlighted it was like, this is gonna be the showdown, and I've been ready to see a one-on-one Kaito against Stacy, and we have yet to certainly even get that, so much to the point to where all of a sudden Stacy decides to jump into his mecha, and now he wants to go ahead and fight that way too, and still gets his ass washed. So again, a lover, not a fighter. We've been saying this ever since he wound up debuting. He gets his ass beat all the time. I don't even, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. He puts on a much bigger face, a different persona, to say the least, and doesn't necessarily back it up when it comes to Stacaesar. So continues to show his punk ass self to everybody and to the rest of the world. Great new combinations that we wind up getting in here. I didn't necessarily know if the super Zenkaiger or whatever the mode is for Zenkaiser at this point. Super Zenkaiser? I don't know. I can't remember. But I didn't know that we were going to be able to get other combinations with him and other team members. So being able to get to see him and Jurin team up to make the Super Zenkai-O Jurin, great combination, guys. Just take more of my money in that regards. I think it's a great collaboration already, especially just based off of the friendship that these two certainly had. It makes absolute sense to me. And then, of course, I think we get the Super Tukai-O, where he actually combines with the ship itself. I don't recall him forming that before. I believe this is the first time that we've seen that, but another fantastic combination in here. I think it really worked. Even getting the opportunity to see Stacaesar and the Zenkaigers using sort of their final strike attacks, making it a combination of both of their abilities together. Like the fact that they both use the same gears for their final attack, I thought looked brilliant on screen, honestly. So great. Special effects was great, action was great, Zord battle was great new combinations. They really did everything in regards to here to make you certainly want more when it comes to new designs for the mechas. For me, you guys know, when it comes to after the introduction to the Sixth Ranger and some of their mechas and combinations, usually after that I stop reading and looking at magazine scans. There are aspects to the series that I personally want to get surprised by, and these two combinations we got with the Super Tukai-O along with the Super Zenkai-O Jurin really floored me in here, so absolutely love that. And quick honorable mention, Flint continues looking great in here. The fact that she had on this interesting engineer outfit, I thought it worked perfectly for her. But again, continuing to show her that she's not just a beauty, she definitely is the brains of this operation when it comes to getting all these combinations and things like that together. So overall, guys, really great episode if you ask me. When it comes to Gigi, just to go back to the Toji Tendo, Clearly, this is all part of Gigi's plan, at least in regards to this new upgrade that Stacy's gonna get, or bringing Stacy sort of back to life. The fact that Ijiru asks Gigi, like, does Bokawas know what's going on? And Gigi absolutely makes no reference or comment whatsoever. Clearly, Overlord Bokawas has no idea. But when it comes to somebody like Gigi pulling the strings, it don't matter what this guy does, Bokawas is going to absolutely love it, right? So if there's anybody that can get away with, coming up with a brand new plan and not telling the Overlord, it's definitely Gigi. And again, he's literally like the slickest person in the Toji Tendo. It's like this group, you cannot trust anybody in it, because everybody certainly has their own intentions and things that they want to achieve for themselves. So, what Gigi's trying to get out of this at the end of the day of bringing Stacy back, I really want to know how, like, what else he's playing up into, because again, the 2 episodes that we saw with Gigi really helming and at the controls of sending the monsters down, I really enjoyed both of those episodes. So if Gigi wants to get even further involved in what's going on with Stacy and Ijiru and Barashitara, I'm definitely here for it. But I love to see that the villains themselves clearly have their own storylines and own motivations. It certainly is coming across, and I think in this episode, again, I think Kaito's reasoning really showcased why he's such a great leader and why he's such a great character for this season. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, these are just simply my A+ opinions, but I want to know yours. What did you guys think about episode number 23? Is there anything that I missed, whether that be character details, character moments, storyline moments, or details that you want to go ahead and further discuss? Let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. But another solid entry here this week, one that I'm not even going to say this was solid. This was a really great episode. I was a really big fan of it. But let me know your thoughts, guys. But until next time, do me a big favor. We'll certainly see you next week. But until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.